Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we talk about all things financial literacy. And today, we're going to be talking about First Citizens Bank. I personally went down into a branch that we have here in Nevada, and I was able to open an account. I called, see if there was an appointment available. I was able to go in the same day while I was running some other errands. And when I went in, I sat down with an actual banker there. We went over a couple things. We'll talk about it. And then I was able to open a savings, a checking account. And then I was also able to get a credit card with them. I didn't find out about the approval until the next day. I believe it could have been done same day, but it was towards the end of the business day. It was also on Halloween. And I did get a $10,000 credit card with 0% APR. So I want to talk about a few data points. And I also want to talk about the experience with this and how for this one particular institution, you could probably get up to $100,000 in business credit funding. So this is a great institution to look at, especially if you are in their area. There's also a way that you can definitely get into this institution without being in one of the 20 states that they are located in. Now, if you like this content, you like this video, please drop in the comments business credit. Let me know that you really are appreciating this. So very quickly, I'm just going to go over some brief information about First Citizens Bank. They are in the top 20 financial institutions in the U.S. with over 15,000 plus associates across the United States, $200 billion plus in assets, and 550 plus bank branches in 23 states. So excuse me, it's 23 states. Now, with this actually being said, one cool feature with First Citizens, if you have an ATM card with them, they actually waive all ATM fees. So you never have to pay an ATM fee when you're pulling out money using a First Citizens account. So that is one thing that's really interesting and it's pretty cool. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details about this institution, but we're going to go into its geolocation. It is a regional institution, but again, there is a way to work around that. So if you were trying to find a branch for First Citizens Bank, here are all of the states that they are available in. That's Arizona, California, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Kansas, Maryland, Missouri, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Oregon, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. Even if you are not in one of these states, you can still become a customer of First Citizens Bank. So again, we'll talk about that. I did go into a branch here in Nevada that was going to be in the Las Vegas area. It was this location. Now, you can apply for this card online. That is one of the drawbacks. You cannot. You have to go into a branch personally. So that is the one thing I would say is a little bit of an inconvenience. If you want to do everything online, you will have to go into a branch. You will have to speak with someone. They will ask you very simple questions. And then we're going to go into that a little bit while I talk about the credit card as well. Now, before I go into the credit card, I'm just going to kind of lay out the experience that I had. So I went into First Citizens Bank. This was exactly 3 days ago. I did not have to make an appointment. They were actually free that day. It was Halloween, so I think that it was just kind of slow. When I went in, I talked to a personal banker. He sat me down in the office and he asked me a lot of questions. Now, this is going to be the traditional type of questions that you normally get when you are online. It's going to be the same thing if you go to any different bank. They're going to ask you the exact same things. They're going to ask you the nature of your business. They're going to ask you for probably your business license, your articles of incorporation, and they're going to ask you for 2 forms of identification. So that's going to be your driver's license. If you have a credit card, then you can also use that. That's what I presented. Everything else that I presented was digital. I just emailed it to the personal banker while we sat down and we talked. They're going to try to push you to get one of their their payment processors. That's like a big thing with all the banks right now. If you sat down with anybody, everybody wants you to get their payment processing. You could just decline that, just ignore that. But I did open up a Business 3 account because I do have transactions that I might decide to run through this particular institution. And then I also opened a money market savings account. I'm not going to go into the accounts because I'm going to assume that you don't really care about that if we're just looking at business funding. But I would say that it does look really good if you go in there and you actually are inquiring about some other products besides just a business credit card. So I did that first. I told them I want to open up a checking. I told them I want to open up a money market savings because that would give you the impression that I want to leave money in here and I plan on running business operations from this particular account. So while you're sitting there, it's actually good to just, give them some other things that they can look into besides the credit card. I never even brought the credit card up. He brought the credit card up to me. So once we had gone through that entire process, they asked me the nature of my business. They asked me how much money that I make for my business. How long has my business been active? I recommend having a business that's at least 3 months old before you go and apply for this credit card. I also recommend that if you can, you deposit some money before you do it. Now, I was able to get a $10,000 credit limit and I only had to deposit $100. That was the minimum requirement. I did have to go to an ATM and withdraw that out in cash. They couldn't take a card. So you need at least $200 in cash. You'll deposit that in the checking. You'll also deposit that in the savings. When they do the application for the credit card, it looks like an old antiquated system. It's not the most up to date, right? So they do the application for you. Again, all this stuff, the most inconvenient thing is that you have to go talk to a personal banker to do all of this stuff. It's easier when you can just do it online, but unfortunately, you will have to go down there. You will have to talk to someone, but they were very, very nice. I had a great experience. It was like the white glove treatment. And I can tell that the relationship they like to have with their clients is you can call them and you can meet with them to talk about all of your business needs. It's actually really nice. If you're looking to build that relationship with your banker, it's actually really nice. So once that was done, he told me about some other products. One thing that I didn't get into, which I should have gotten into, and I still might, I just didn't need it at this time, but the business line of credit. He did offer me the business line of credit. I told him, hey, not at this time. I don't need it. But I believe if you were to apply for this, or if I were to apply for this, especially with these data points, it could have easily been $50,000 in business credit funding. If you want to know more about business lines of credit, I have a few other videos on different ones that you can get. They're definitely available with a lot of institutions. You can get it with Chase. You can get it with Wells Fargo. You can get it with most institutions. But I would recommend that you go ahead and you look into a business line of credit. It's great for access to funds that you can manage when your cash flow is low. That's really the main purpose of a business line of credit, to have access to cash flow, to make money or to keep your business afloat in between times where it might be kind of tight. I don't recommend using this for long periods of time. If you want long periods of time, look for SBA loans, SBA 7 loan. I just did the video on the US Bank SBA back loan that I was approved for. It was $15,000. I still believe the interest rate was too high. But anyway, you can check this out. They're probably going to go through and offer it. If you want to do the same thing, then you can. If you do it at the time, I believe it's only going to be the one hard inquiry for both. So if you want to do it at the same time, then I recommend they're going to ask you, do the business line of credit as well as the credit card. Now, once he took all my information, it was a little bit towards the end of the business day. I think around like 3 when we were done. He gave me information, processed the debit card order. He took my business information, how much I make, all of that. He just wrote it down and he told me he would submit the application. The next day he called me, and when he called me, he told me I was approved for $10,000, and he asked me if that was okay. When he asked me if that was okay, that gave me the impression that I could have probably pushed for more. But this was no documentation. They never asked me for bank statements. They never asked me for, anything like that. It was just stated. I told him what I make. He came back and he said, this is what they're going to give me. And this is with me only depositing $100 into the money market savings and the checking. If you wanted more than that, there is a long-term play, I would say, for about 90 to 120 days, where if you want to get up to $50,000, those are data points that I've seen, guys. You can get $50,000 on this credit card very easily. This is probably one of the most generous banks that I've seen when you're not actually doing any type of relationship building. But if you were to do that, you can get a lot more. So let's go over some of the credit cards that they have here. So you guys know I care about right now 0% APR. There's the premium rewards card here. It gets you points. There is the reward business credit card. This is actually the one that I got. $10,000 on this one. 0% APR. Oh, I'm sorry. This one is points, right? Sorry. I didn't get this one. I got the cash rewards. Same exact thing, 0% APR, but you can receive 5% cash back on utilities, wireless phone purchases, and that's going to be for the first 12 months. Then it's 3%, 2% back on cash and office supplies. I like the 5% back on wireless phone purchases in the first 12 months because that's similar to what I get on the Chase Ink card. It gives me 5% cash back for wireless purchases and utilities and the same exact thing. So that's pretty cool to have that again for 12 months. And also the 0% APR, which I am going to utilize, and there's no annual fee, which makes it even better. So this is a nice one. You spend $3,000, you get a $100 cash bonus in the first 90 days. Not much on that welcome bonus, but with no annual fee and these high cashback offers with no APR, 0% APR for 9 months, can't complain. I like this one. There was also one more, the low interest business credit card, but I decided that I would rather wait and get this one later. Reason being, I've been noticing with some of the 0% APR cards with longer periods of time, because they know you plan on taking big balances and just, pushing them, kicking the can down the road for long periods of time, those, in my opinion, seem to get lower limits. But I believe if I use this card properly, if I want to go back and get this one the next time, I might be able to get it around like 20, 30, 40,000. Like this card may be the only 0% APR card I might need next year if I play my cards right. So I decided to forego getting this one. Let's just keep it on the side. And then instead I went with this one for the 0% APR for 9 months. I like the limit that I was approved for. And again, guys, you could make a cool play with this for probably $50,000 on the business credit card and $50,000 between the business line of credit, getting up to $100,000 in total business funding just from this one institution. And again, no documentation, very smooth process. I mean, it was very easy. This was probably the easiest process that I've had with any institution. That is it. Only drawbacks I have to say is that you have to go in person. Their systems are very old and antiquated. Those are my 2 complaints. But now I'm going to go over some data points that I think are very important for this particular card. We'll also talk about things that you can do to join this particular bank without having to actually live in any of the aforementioned states. So let's talk about that. All right. So we're looking at the data points for First Citizens Bank. The hard pull. The hard pull is going to be from Experian and Equifax, FICO 9. Yes, they pull from both. You will need to unfreeze both, but they don't pull from TransUnion, which is nice. For credit scores, the lowest one I would say that you need to have is a 680 plus. I can't confirm this for sure. My personal credit scores were Experian 770, Equifax 744. But I would say for the best results, at least have a 680 plus. I think 720, that range might be the sweet spot, but at least a 680 plus. Now, if you have a 680 credit score with Equifax and Experian and you have no derogatory marks, no late payments, no collections, nothing like that. If you have any derogatory marks, I would get those off or I would wait. No derogatory marks. If you have a 680, it's going to become more important that you open up that checking. I opened up a Business 3 account. Reason being, a Business 3 account is the highest amount of volume transactions that they expect. Again, I'm showing them that I'm probably going to be using this account for a lot. I also did the money market savings. Reason being, for the money market savings, you can get, I believe, 3.5% interest, but you have to have at least $25,000 in the account in order to get that. You need to have $100, like we mentioned, to open the account. That's going to be required at the time of opening. That's going to be for the checking and for the savings. If you do this, I recommend to increase your internal bank score with First Citizens Bank. If you could deposit at least anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000, and you don't have to do it all at one time, you could deposit it slowly, or you could do 5 and 5 or 2,500 and 2,500, and you can leave it in there for 90 to 120 days at a low credit score of 680. I do think that would get you the $50,000 on the credit card and $50,000 on the business line of credit. I recommend that if you want to get the highest. For me, I've gotten every card. Everything I do on this channel is not just me talking about what someone else did. I have all these credit cards. I've applied for them. I've gotten them. And I'm going to show you guys the account online. Everything I've done, I've actually gotten. So when I'm giving it to you, this is a firsthand account, firsthand experience. This is not synthetic information. So I got approved for 10,000. I'm sure I could have pushed for more, especially because I have documentation that could have helped, at least as far as income goes. But I did not. But if you needed to, you probably could. If you don't want to have to go through all of that, the best thing you could do is garden and build a relationship by depositing money. If you want the highest, do that. That's what I recommend. I also recommend you have no more than 3 hard inquiries on your personal credit. That's going to be for Equifax and Experian. Your personal accounts, hopefully you have none that were opened in the last 90 days. New accounts, shorten your account age. That could affect you getting approved. I had this same problem with Wells Fargo, so I recommend you don't open any new credit cards or any new accounts in the last 90 days when you go to apply for this card. And again, you can also qualify for that business line of credit. I believe it can be $50,000 plus. And if you want to join First Citizens, we've talked about this before, a business can file as a foreign entity when it wants to conduct business in a state other than where it was originally formed. Now, in order for you to do this with First Citizens, then I recommend you go on to your Secretary of State for a new state, file as a foreign entity when you want to conduct business. And when you do that, you can sign up for something like Regis, and you can have your registered agent appointed in Nevada or whatever state that this is in. You have an address there that can collect mail, and then you can have a mailing address to wherever you are in the United States. That would be a workaround for you in order to do this. However, you would still have to go into a local branch in one of these states in order for you to do this. But when you give them all of your information, if you filed as a foreign entity and you set up another address, like a virtual address, that is the way that you would go about joining First Citizens or any other, PNC, for Truist, for any of these other banks. If you wanted to hit any of these regional ones, that would be the way that you actually do it. Now, before we completely wrap up this video, I just want to log into my First Citizens Bank account. I'm just going to show you how it looks and that credit card on there, just so you have an idea of what you might be dealing with when you get approved for this credit card. All right, so I'm logging into my account, and here we are. So right now, Business Cash Visa Card 6887, that is the credit card. Business Banking 3 with $100, and the premium money market savings at $100. Total assets $200, and this is everything. So First Citizen rewards balance. It just kind of tells me exactly, what I have going on, and I can register my card to access all of these rewards. And you'll see that same thing when you open your account. I don't have the card yet, so I haven't registered. But if I go here, then I can see transaction details, but the details just show the credit limit of $10,000. Of course, no balances, no anything here. Options to manage the card. Like I said before, I'm not a big fan of their system. It looks very old and antiquated, and I would say that's my only gripe. They do, for Zelle transactions, I believe it's $3 when you send transactions through Zelle. So never seen that where I got charged for Zelle. You might want to keep that in mind. And like I said, old looking, not the best setup. However, not any different than what you'll probably see: statement and documents, card management, alerts, bill pay services, money and transfer, and the message center. I was trying to actually see if once I opened up an account, would I be able to apply for loans and stuff without having to go into a branch. There's an open new account option right here. And the only thing that it looks like it lets me open is just business checking and business savings. And like I said, premium savings, you need to have an average balance of $25,000 for no monthly maintenance fees and no charge for the first 50 deposited items. So you can potentially be charged for a lot of deposits. All right. So unfortunately, as of right now, from what I can see, anything that I wanted to do, I have to go into a branch, which is probably, again, the most annoying part. Other than that, I don't think that there's any problem with First Citizens. So far, so good. Everything else has been pretty seamless. And yeah, that's pretty much the setup. Again, old looking but simplistic and probably easy for anyone else to understand. But you can't do, like, again, everything has to be done in the branch. And then even when you do, there's limited options to what you can and can't apply for, to what you can and you cannot apply for through First Citizens Online. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you would like me to do a video on BMO Harris, please drop BMO in the comments below. I already have an account that's been set up with them for a few months. I've tried to apply for their credit card online. Every time I do, it tells me I need to apply in person. I do want to say all the research I've done for BMO Harris has not been favorable. It's been very bad, actually. It's been really bad. A lot of people talk about how they can't get any customer service. They talk about it's bad. And I looked at all the reviews from every location here in Las Vegas. They all have less than 2 stars, like 2.6 stars for the reviews. And it's kind of like that everywhere. I don't know if I don't want to go get something and recommend it to you guys if I have a bad experience with it, or if other people are telling me they've had a bad experience with it. I don't know if that would make sense. If you still want me to make a video on BMO Harris, I will go this week, try to go there, see if I can get them to actually run the application and get it done and get approved for their business credit card. They have a 0% APR for 12 months. If you guys want it, drop a comment that says BMO. Again, with all that being said, if everyone is saying they have a bad experience with this bank, not just the people in the bank, but their systems are horrible and they can never get anybody from customer service, and apparently every time they have transactions, they're being flagged and you have to call. Me reading that kind of, I respect my time, and I also respect research and information. Everyone's not going to tell me a lie, if you're getting information from different sources. So again, I'm not really, I wanted to, but now I'm kind of on the fence. Like, I don't really want to, but I'll leave it in your guys' hands. If you want me to do a BMO video and go down there and do it, I'll do it. But I have to have at least 10 comments that say BMO. If I get 10, I'll go down there and I'll do it, and I'll document my experience. And hopefully maybe it's not as bad as they say. Maybe I catch them on a good day. Maybe I don't have those problems, but we will see. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below, and you guys have a wonderful day.